we have here something that kids ask for all the time. And we have a big bag here. And in here we have trail mix, obviously potato chips, bugles, and cheese mix, and whatever all else. And this bag doesn't include what was really popular with the experts, and that's lollipops and ice cream. Lollipops and ice cream. Lollipops, ice cream. I asked the kids, the experts, for that because they are the kids in our vacation Bible school. But anybody here who's a parent or godparent or grandparent knows that kids ask for things and they never stop asking. They don't give up. No, they ask the first time, right? First time, no. Second time, they have very good strategy, Second time, and they'll keep asking. Well, in our gospel today, Jesus tells us, ask for what we need. In a way, the kids have it right. They keep asking. And that's the lesson of our gospel tonight. Keep asking. God knows what we need. Now, in the gospel tonight, Jesus is teaching his apostles and disciples how to pray. And he teaches them the words that are very familiar to us, the words of the Our Father. And the real lesson is in that very first word, our Father. Because it tells us that God hears our needs and answers them just as any loving parent would. God knows our needs. God is ready for us. Our only job is not to give up. Not to give up, but to keep asking. Not to lose faith. But we all know there can be some problems when we pray. Most of us, as adults, we may pray for things, and when it doesn't come, what happens? Well, we stop asking. And that's the mistake. God knows what we need. We stop asking. And most of us probably have experience, and the answer to is, remember the words of the Our Father. Your will be done. Your will be done. We're talking about God's will and not ours. Because God's will, can be very different from what we will, what we want. God knows what we need, and God's answer might be very different. Now, maybe we can think for a minute here of a time in our own lives, just take 30 seconds or so, when God did answer, but not in the way we expected. And that's what made all the difference. God answered, but not the way we expected it. God is indeed a loving parent. And God's will, in the end, we think back to our own lives, God's answer was much better than the one we were asking for. Maybe a few examples will help us. One summer day, I was walking in the neighborhood, and I saw Linda on her porch. And Linda was surrounded by her many children and grandchildren. Well, I know she had some health problems, but that day she told me that she was going blind. Her only wish is that she would be able to see her first great-grandchild, who was to be born in December. But then she said right away, it's all in the hands of God. It's all in the hands of God. And Linda reminds us, we're here to do God's will and not necessarily ours. God knows what we need. At our Mass in the neighborhood one time, Susan prayed for her nephew, who that very Sunday morning had been running through the neighborhood in an almost crazed way because of the use of drugs. And she prayed not only for her nephew, but all the young people that were there. She prayed that they never, ever would use drugs. Susan knew the power of drugs. She knew in her life the power of drugs. And Susan reminds us that we can go to God with whatever it is we need, even what looks hopeless and impossible. Addictions, health problems, family situations. All things are possible with God. So as we continue on tonight, as we prepare to share in the body and the blood of Christ, let's ask our God for the help and the strength that we need to always pray to God for what we need and to never give up. Pray to God for what we need, not necessarily what we want, what we need, and never give up.